So I was tripping out the other day because apparently, PayPal is so touchy.
Okay.
When I sent you the Patreon money the other day,
yes,
I didn't send it from the balance that was in my PayPal account. I sent it from my checking account.
Okay.
Which it's all going to go in the same place anyway. But then I'm looking like, why do I have so much money in my PayPal? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, and I was like, literally like freaking out the other day, like going over all of my transactions for the month of June to see like, did I get something refunded back? Did I do something? And I'm like, well, let me look. I go, the only thing that I had in was the Patreon. I go, and the only thing that like big that I sent out was the thing to Todd. I go, and those two should have kind of like evened each other out.
Right.
And when I went and I saw like your transaction, it didn't come from that. It just like, because sometimes it'll say like it defaults to just do your balance, and then sometimes you have to specifically request it's your balance.
Right, right.
So I had like an hour where I was like tripping out.
Yep. It's all good. You're blessed in the PayPal account now.
Oh, well, now see though. Now I'm not though. Now everything's all taken care of.
Oh, okay.
I used it to buy other things, and I'm just like, well, why do I have all this extra money? But now I don't have that extra money.
Joe's problem. I have too much money.
Right. Well, no, I don't do a better accounting of where, like, what money is going where, you know?
Right. You have the two sets of books, you know? So when I ask to see them, you have the fake set, like, you know, like an old criminal, you know? Like Boss Hogg back in the day.
Got lots of laundering going on.
You seem like a laundering kind of guy.
Yeah, I did the laundry this weekend.
Oh, good. Get all your whites as white as they can be?
I don't have a lot of white clothes.
I have next to, well, I don't want to get into my undergarments, but yeah, not a lot of white clothes for me either.
There you go. I gotcha.
Not a lot of white undergarments either.
I gotcha. It's not Tuesday weather currently. I don't have to be wearing the long sleeve white deal underneath, you know?
Right, yeah. Anyway.
So how's things?
I'm good. I'm keeping a low profile, you know?
Good.
Can't be like you, Mr. Exciting.
Oh, yes, definitely. Very exciting at the wrestling this week. Of course, we'll get into more of that on At Odds.
Yeah, I heard. Well, I don't know. Did anybody else have get sick at all? Because I think Adam caught something.
Oh no!
I don't know. He seemed a little under the weather when we were playing GTA the other night. So, but he seemed stuffed up.
It could be Denny's food in general.
Oh, he went
to Denny's afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw Adam eat in public.
That never happens.
He was sitting right next to me. I had no choice but to stare at him while he was doing it. It was very uncomfortable.
Couldn't avert your eyes, right?
No.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. So did you guys, I mean, I know you're going to save it for your show. As long as you had a good time, fun was had by all.
Yeah, show was awesome. Packed house, you know. Big things happen in the world of the LVAC stands for something different when it's called when it's the wrestling, but I don't know. It's like Lehigh Valley Apparel Creations is like the t-shirt thing, and then I think it's like athletic something
certified
for the wrestling.
Whatever. Yeah, who knows?
LVAC, yeah.
Levac, yeah.
Yeah, and then for the Patreon, I'm interviewing Mantis for the At Odds Patreon this week.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Can I have that slide into my Dropbox, Joe?
Maybe. You might might get the pre and post as well.
Oh, good, because he's the only man left on my list that I want the worker handshake from. Yeah. I mean, I took down a ring for that man. I deserve a worker handshake.
You got to come to a show to get it.
I will. I figured, like I say, I'm always trying to get Skinny Jeans to go because then I'll get the respect from Mantis I deserve if I wear Skinny Jeans.
He played we were supposed to do it on Monday, and then he played like a concert or something in Philly on Monday, which sounds like a lie, but I don't know.
Okay.
He also has a new phone that's all like smashed up and stuff.
Oh, wow, that sounds like him. How's he going to get into his burner accounts?
I don't know. Listen, there might be a question in regards to that when we do the interview.
Sounds like fun.
When I do these interviews, I try not to gotcha question people,
Right.
I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. And I go, and I'm like, oh, I might ask about this. They might ask about this. Is there anything you don't want to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be interesting because, I have to tread lightly, even as I say it here. Mantis,
mm-hmm.
He's very protective of his character,
Yep.
And I don't know what Mantis I'm going to get when we talk on Wednesday, so it'll be very interesting.
Right.
Because they just did a big angle where they took his mask. They beat him up, they bloodied him, and took his mask. Not in that order.
I hope he's okay.
Well, that's the thing. If you believe the online scuttlebutt...
And I do.
He was in the hospital due to injuries sustained from the beating on Friday, and he wasn't released of his own cognizance until Monday.
I thought we weren't allowed to call them hospitals.
I'm sorry, local medical facility. Thank you.
There you go, and I hate that I know that.
Thank you. So I don't know how fast and loose we're going to play with that, because we're going to be talking about the Chikara thing from 10 years ago. And then we're gonna we're probably gonna talk about MASH.
Oh,
I'm gonna ask him if he's gone to any flea markets, which is my reminder to talk about the flea market here today.
Oh, look at you!
I'm gonna ask him if he's seen any movies recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna ask him if he's up on the what's new in the world of celebrity gossip.
Oh, look at you!
Listen, I know Mantis. And again, we'll see how it goes. It'll be very interesting. And then for next month on the Ad Odds Patreon, I'm interviewing young Ed.
Oh, wow. All the stars are here.
Listen, these are stars in my world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And allegedly, it's going to be a bit-free interview.
I'll take that bet.
Uh-huh. Again, He said it would be funny. He said it'd be funny as a bit if he didn't do any bits when I interviewed him.
That's like the snake eating its tail.
Right, I know, and that's what I said. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I got looking forward to, and then of course, there's another thing. You'll get a kick out of this. We'll talk to you, and we'll close with the drive-in stuff. Not the drive-in stuff, not that we'll get into it though.
Right.
So we have Red Sonja to watch for the Patreon this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Adam's turn to assign me a movie or assign me something to watch, right?
Right.
When there's not a pay-per-view that weekend, we assign each other something to watch. I've been assigning old shows that are a blind spot for me.
Like
and then,
the show homework, right?
Show homework, yes. And he's been assigning me movies starring current World Wrestling Entertainment wrestler, The Miz.
Yes, I heard you went through the Marine series.
Right, we went through the Marine series. We went through the 2 Christmas movies that The Miz was in. So we're done with the Miz movies.
Mm-hmm.
Did Adam tell you what movie he assigned me for this week to watch?
I do not think so.
He assigned me to watch Body Slam. Hey,
I've seen that movie. So why don't you just play the episode that we did?
That's what I said. I go, I'm not going to watch the movie. I'm just going to go back and listen to the episode that Todd and I did on it 5 years ago.
Oh,
I know. Just going to go back and listen to that and take notes from the notes that I already had. I don't think I took notes, handwritten notes when I did them movies back then. I might have to go double check to see if I did. I don't think so. I don't think I start doing handwritten notes until we start doing that stuff for the Patreon,
You didn't take notes till we was getting paid.
Right, getting paid. So what else have you been up to?
I have been up to nothing. Like I said, I've been playing GTA online. I went to the movies real quick. Well, as we discussed on the main show, The Flash. Other than that, I've been low key, other than getting a double help on a doll safari from both our good buddy DJ and Adam at the same time.
Yeah, I heard about that. Getting you some pricey items at the Wilkes-Barre Target.
Yep. So I get a text from DJ, and he's like, "Do you need this?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And I'm like, "I do want that." He's like, "Well, it says that the Wilkes-Barre Target." And he's like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I was near our local Target. And I was like, okay, so if they have them in theirs, let me go to ours real quick. And I pulled in, and as I'm walking in, I get the text from DJ. He's like, do you want me to grab it? And I wasn't going to tell him I'm at the Target in Dixon. And I'm like, yeah, I would, but I don't want you to put that much out. And he like goes, what? And he's like, oh, this is how much it is? He goes, yeah, do you want me to hide it for you? I'm like, yeah, you could. I don't know if I'm getting down to Wilkes-Barre, but hide it. So he showed me the picture. It was behind. I actually put the picture of what it is on my Twitter. It's like a box set. So it's 4 figures. It's huge. So DJ put it like on this low shelf and then put like one Funko in front of it. So it's like just like a sore thumb there. So I'm like, okay, if I get down there, maybe I'll get it. I'll think about getting down there. So then I get a text like an hour or two later, and it's Adam. He's like, oh, this was at Target. Box is perfect. You want me to grab it? And I'm like, yeah, you want to? He's like, yeah. So I ended up PayPaling him the money, and he dropped it off the next day, dragging ass when he got to my house after the show.
Oh, it was a late night. Yeah.
He didn't want anything. Like, I was like, hey, Adam, here's your money, your PayPal. Because I PayPaled him when he showed up. And he's like, yeah, here it is. And he's like, all right, I'm going. I'll talk to you later. I'm like, hey, how was the show? I was like, it was good. And he got in his car and left. He was like, I'm going home to sleep. I'm tired.
Yeah, I was going to say, I slept a good chunk of Saturday, even though we ran around and did a bunch of shit. I was like, it was like 8:30, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. Fuck this,
So, yeah, I did that. And when I was at Dixon Target, the Target released 4 figures that I needed. It had the 4-figure box set. It had a foot soldier enforcer or something. I don't know. That one I found. So I'm still looking for the battle damage shredder and the splinter. But 2 out of the 4 that I needed, I'm good with that. And they'll show up in other stores. Like Target gets them first for like a month, and then they'll roll out again. So I'm not worried. I just like to space it out so I don't have, $250 out there in one shot.
Yeah, and like obviously not wanting to have to pay secondary pricing on these things too,
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, because our local retailer can get them, but I don't like getting figures from him because if they get smushed, the return thing is a hassle for him.
Yeah,
that's like true. Monstars will have them. Target will have them. Walmart will have them. They'll be in comic shops. I'm like, no, I'm not worried. So secondary prices, I'm not worried about. It's when we get like exclusives. That's when I worry about secondary prices.
Yeah, there's Eddie Kingston Walmart exclusive that's coming out like ? Mm-hmm. And the previous AEW figures that have had Walmart exclusives, we get them later than everywhere else, but we get them in abundance. Everyone else has seen them. I've never seen them when I've been out.
Right. Well, if you're looking for an Eddie Kingston figure, isn't there somebody on your phone you could call and say, hey, you made my baby cry, give me one for free?
I don't think he gets them for free.
Well, hey,
it's not like he's putting them in his boxes and they're like, all right, the figure is of you. It's your responsibility to go and put them out at the stores.
But he probably gets a couple, It'd be like, hey, well, I'll pay you. I'm not looking for free. He's still traumatized. Come on.
He's not. Eddie knows that. Eddie knows that Ace is not traumatized.
Tug at the heartstrings.
I think Eddie might have a couple of my preacher trades still.
Oh, there you go. I'd be like, hey, man, you have my preacher trade. Send me a figure for interest.
I think Orange Cassidy has my Secret Six trade, which is fine. That was one of those ones where, like, I bought it was one of those, like, how, remember we talk about we've talked about it before in the main show when, like, Walking Dead was out and hot, like, before the TV show, and they had that price to move trade.
$9.99 first one, yeah.
Yeah, I would just have that on me all the time, and, like, if I was talking about comics and somebody's like, oh, Walking Dead, whatever, I would just give them the trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next time I would go to the shop, I'd just pick up another one, right? And I probably did that, like, 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then Secret Six, like, we loved Secret Six, still do.
Yep.
And that was when we were getting in single issues, and that was one I ended up getting a deal on the first trade of it. And I'm like, oh, this will be my given away trade to people, you know? And it was just when OC took that one, I was like, I just never got a chance to, like, replace it. Or it was, like, a little bit more difficult to replace. Whatever, right? It's just funny where, like, some of my books are out in the ether with people, you know?
I'll pick up all those. You know, the names that we just dropped. But yeah, you can't even get that Secret Six trade now. They're hard to find.
Yes.
So if you can get that back, first of all, it's got OC like DNA on it. Second of all, it's worth a lot of money. So I would look into that.
I don't know if you know how people read books.
Well,
that it has his DNA on it.
Guy. OC's a laid back guy. He's going to turn those pages very gently.
Let me look to see.
Dear OC, I hope.
No, it's not that bad. You could get, like, obviously it's not the first print, but I'm just looking here on the old Amazon, and it's like $12.
Okay, I know some of them are expensive.
Yeah, so, and again, unfortunately, like, the numbering of them.
Yep.
Because, like, they say, like, here's volume 1, which is the one that I'd given them, and then, like, here's a second volume 1, but that's the collection of the Villains United. Right. And then here's volume 2, which is actually volume 2, and there's volume 3, volume 4. And then it's when they did the second series of them. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that are worth a little bit more.
Okay. Well, anyway.
And I say a little bit more, like $25 as opposed to 11.
Right.
And I just like to double check these things. Sometimes you go and start spreading your misinformation around, you know?
Yeah, I remember when they were, though. I don't know. I'll have to look them all up, and then I'll find the one that proves my point and then email it to you.
All right. Well, while I'm talking, you can go ahead and do that, because not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I went to the flea market for the first time in forever.
Mm-hmm.
The last time that I went to the flea market, it was the Circle Drive-In one.
Right.
And I remember I bought a box of RoboCop 2 movie cards.
I'm sorry to hear that.
When it was like it was that summer that it had come out, so whatever year RoboCop 2 came out.
Oh, okay, so that long ago. Gotcha.
Yes. And there were lots of vendors there selling bootleg Simpson shirts.
Oh, wow.
I very vividly remember that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So this time, it was just like, nah, we got some time. Our neighbor was supposed to be going, selling her stuff, and we're just like, oh, we'll do that, and we'll use it as an excuse to go, visit April's folks, because it's at the Nanacoke Drive-In, which is like right in between our house and their house.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd, I'll have you know that flea markets have trash.
No.
So I was going there just to look to see if anyone had comics, and they did. And I was going hoping to find loose old wrestling figures for my little nephew. He's 4. He's into wrestling now. Loves the Hulkster. Loves Ultimate Warrior. So, like, that's the era that I'm looking for stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So throughout the entire flea market, I only found 2 people that were selling loose figures. And it was more modern day figures that were like broken, like, oh, here's Rey Mysterio missing a leg, and here's, Edge, but he looks like we pulled him out of mud and threw him in this bin, you know?
What, you don't all like Broken Edge?
There you go. Now, there was a lot of people there selling counterfeit Pokemon cards.
counterfeit. How do you know? They were legit.
Okay. So this is what me and my kid did. There was like 3 different stands that were all selling the same counterfeit Pokemon cards, where it was just like packs of cards super cheap. Like a regular pack of Pokemon cards goes for $5, right? Mm-hmm. And these people were selling the packs for $1, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you could look, if you know what you're looking for, you could look right at the pack and be like, okay, that's fake, right? You could look at the cards and tell. You could feel the cards. There's a million different ways to tell a fake Pokemon card, right? But they were $1, and my kid's like, oh, I want to buy a fake one to see how bad they look on the inside. I'm like, well, they have loose ones right here. You can look at those loose ones, right? So he bought and he's like, oh, this is like whatever the set is, Chilling Reign, and Chilling Reign only had these 4 Pokemon on the covers of the packs. And the Pokemon that's on the cover of this pack was from this set and wasn't even on the cover, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like fascinating to listen to him, like that he knows all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And he had faker stuff in his head from watching a bunch of like fake Pokemon videos on YouTube or whatever it was. Now, there were people that were selling loose Pokemon cards that were legit, but way too much. And I would have done the same thing, but I would have been a little bit more tactful about it. But I forget what the site is that you can go and look up like what the price of single Pokemon cards are. My kid was just there like looking at their case, pulling it up on his phone like right in the front of the guy, and just like as he's looking at it, he's like, "Oh, you're selling this for $5 and it's on here for 75 cents. How about this?" And you know what I mean?
Jeez. The haggler.
Right. Well, no, he said it wasn't a haggler. Like, it's not like, oh, well, I'm going to talk you down to 75 cents because I found a website that says. It's like, no, this guy's like, it's marked for $5. I'm selling it for $5. And that's kind of what it was, right? Mm-hmm. So he didn't buy any of those. There was a guy who was selling, not Minty Mint, but he had a lot of Marvel Legends figures.
Right.
But none that I needed. I was like, I'm looking for, certain Spider-Man villains, mint in box, and he had ones, but it was ones that I already had. And I don't know the price of a lot of the other ones, but like you had like your X-Men, your Venoms, your stuff like that. But then it'd be like a random Scorpion, and I have a Scorpion, and like a random Dr. Octopus, but it's not the Dr. Octopus I want, Right. So that was, interesting to look through those. And then there were like 3 different people that were selling comics. Mm-hmm. 2 of them had like, it was stuff from the 90s, stuff that we've talked about within the last 2 to 3 years on Previewing the Past, marked $5 each.
Big timers.
And I'm looking through this, and I'm just like, I wouldn't spend $5 on this entire short box of stuff that you have. Mm-hmm. It's what you have here is worthless. Like, you carry this around with a sign that says $5, and you'll be carrying this. They'll bury you with this, right?
Yep.
Now, there was one guy, and I took the picture. He had a couple of the signed books of the Batman, Superman, Death, Return, Azrael stuff. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't know the going prices on that sort of stuff, and I'm not really a signed comic book guy, but those seem to be like the most reasonably priced stuff. Like that, the Azrael Bats signed one that I sent the picture out of, he had said that was $20.
Okay.
And then the other ones were $25. Like, he had one each of the 4, like the first, like where the first covers for each of the 4 different Supermen, where it was like the double gatefold thing that opened up to reveal.
Yep.
He had each one of those, and they were signed by like the writer and artist, and he was selling those for like $25 each. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not a signed comic guy. I'm like, that's pretty cool, and that seemed like a reasonably priced thing. I don't think he's going to move those at a flea market.
No.
But other than that, it was like literally people just selling junk. It's like here's 20 broken vacuum cleaners.
Right.
You know, and like, I'm not exaggerating. And it was like, here's a pressure washer. And it looked like it was a pressure washer that was older than you. And I think it ran on gas. And it just had a sign on it that said $40 as is. And it's like, you would be better taking this to a scrap place. So many people. And like, then my mind is just racing. Like, the flea market opens at 7:00 in the morning. Okay. I don't know how much you have to pay for space at a flea market. I don't know, you know, how much like prime space is, like if you're in the middle or if you're on the outsides or someone's and so forth. And this feels akin to playing the lottery. Like, you're spending X, whatever X is, right? To go and bring essentially your trash from your house to West Nanticoke. And I don't know where these people live, okay? But they're probably traveling a distance. So they're paying a premium to bring their trash to a second location to definitely not break even, unless you're allowed to set up there for free.
I don't know. Maybe you are, because of the fact that you had to pay to come in, right?
No.
Oh no. See, I think at the flea market in Dixon you have to pay to go. So then at least somebody's paying, but I don't see, you know, if it's free to get in, them not charging vendors. You'd have to charge something. Then basically you're just going to have people tearing up your whatever and leaving garbage, you know?
Okay. So I'm looking it up on the website. Yearly prepaid spots are available. Weekly spots are first come, first serve. Any vendor that have not prepaid for the season can pick from available spots. Okay.
Right.
Now, the season runs from the first weekend in April to the last weekend in October. Okay. So if I do my gazintas, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, that's 7 months. Okay. I had to do that by my fingers. So for the 7 months, it's $580.
Okay.
Weekly, it's $20. So for you to pay $20 to show up with your trash in the hopes to maybe break even, I think there's a lot of people that are going there losing money.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Now because I looked up the one in Dixon. I remember going there a couple of times. I haven't gone there in years. But my favorite thing, which describes like how these people think, and I know what you're saying, like paying money to not sell your garbage. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
One year it was like early spring, and we had one of those late snowfalls where we got like 12 inches of snow on a Saturday into Sunday.
Okay.
And I follow the Dixon City where I live, the police Facebook, you know what I mean? So I could see like they'll have the blotter each day. It'll be like 1100 block or whatever. This happened. So I like to know where the crime's going down around my house. And one of them was like, the cops were like, hey, the flea market today was canceled. Don't be like these people. And it was like a broken down van beached on the hill going up to the Circle Drive-In, and 12 inches of snow just got stuck. They were going to be there early and get the best spot and beat it was like, maybe nobody will show up today. We'll get all the business, but not thinking of there's 12 inches of snow. No one is going to show up. And that just sums up how these people think. I think that sums it up better than anything we could say. You know what I mean? Like, why would you even think someone's going to be there with 12 inches of snow?
Maybe they're banking on the people that are just as crazy as them.
Right. Maybe. I've seen a couple of good things at flea market. Like people who actually have are creative and will do stuff. Like somebody I knew, or their friend would take like old furniture and revarnish it and like do things with like, say, comic book pages and do like a tabletop with your favorite, comic images and stuff like that. And it was just as good as new. Now you're taking something somebody gave you and maybe adding a couple of bucks in buying old used comics and some varnish. And if you sell it for $25, you've made 20. You know what I mean? Like those people I kind of like, but here's the people with, I have an old spare tire and I have a shock from a 53 Edsel and I have, it's like, just take it to the dump. Just take it to the dump. You're not going to sell this shit. So.
I don't know. And then we were kicking the tires on maybe going up to the Circle and you're checking it out. There's no, is there a VIG to get in?
I can't find a VIG to get in off the top of my head. So
I would assume if they're not saying there isn't one.
Right.
But then conversely, they have the snack bar open. So, they're making money that way, not only off the $20 or the $580 for the season. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I don't see a price to get into the I think it is it says buyer admission price $1 per car.
Oh, look at that. See, that's quite the opportunity, right?
There's that word again. So what you need to do is get a Winnebago.
And load
fill
it up
with people, and $1 everybody throws in a nickel.
Or just park so what other people do is
park at Wegmans and walk over?
No, they're not even that's not even close to where this is. But they'll just park on the road.
Right.
We came in. Oh no! Oh, for yours, park at the Wegmans. Sure.
Because this one's the $1 to get in. So
yeah. That's a little bit of a hike, though, even from the Wegmans there.
All right, then Safari Pet Shop. So
okay.
I don't know.
Is the porno bookstore still open?
Yes. Yes, right. The Smut Hut, as I call it.
Oh, nice.
But there used to be 2, but now there's only 1. So
that area was being flooded by having 2 in the same area.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. That's my drive-in. That's my drive-in flea market adventure.
Yep.
Maybe we'll hit another one this season. Who knows?
Yeah. Make it a soon-to-be-named network outing. We should all go.
Yeah. The outing that was planned for this weekend, this Friday, I don't think is going to happen. Because, doing the Patreon takes precedence over everything.
Right. That could be changed, but anyway.
I don't know. When I see the Facebook thing for it, I see a lot of familiar names. Right. A lot of names I wouldn't want to see in public.
Oh.
And it's $20. It's late night. Claims to start at 9. I have a feeling that's a lie,
Right. We'll talk. I don't know what we're talking about. We'll talk.
All right. It's midget mayhem wrestling and brawling.
Oh, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Don't sound so exuberant, Joe.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everybody else feels. Like I said, they're in town. They're hitting the Dagus Mines, Woodlands, Harrisburg loop this weekend.
Right.
They're in Wisconsin on Wednesday, and then they're going to Dagus Mines, Pennsylvania, wherever the hell that is.
Better than Dagus Yours, Pennsylvania.
All right, everybody. It's jokes like that everyone subscribes to the Patreon for. Patreon.com/LongboxHeroes. Check us out. TeePublic Store's sale is this week. eBay affiliate link. I was informed we had purchases through the eBay affiliate link.
Okay.
And even though we don't see what people buy, I can see that our numbers are bigger. Not that they're like anywhere where they used to be with Amazon. But this is the first time since we started doing the eBay affiliate link opportunity that our numbers are bigger than the ad odds numbers.
Oh, I like to hear that. To hear that.
Yep.
I mean, we don't have a selfie level, but no, I like to hear it. So.
No. All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. This was Longbox Heroes After Dark 449. And we'll see you all here next week.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.